Hey guys, good evening for my end of day and my first day. Pardon my reefer, that's the noise you're hearing. I have a loaded reefer trailer and I just got done. I'm at a terminal and I'm just shut down my clock for the night. I'm gonna do a load of laundry and try to get to sleep early tonight because I got an early start tomorrow. I had to come back by the terminal because, as we all know, Freightliners love a sensor. I had a funny sensor experience, but I'll tell you about that when it's quieter inside my cab. But first I'm going to show you something. So one thing that's an adjustment with this truck is that I'm trying to yell so it's like hopefully you can hear what I'm saying. Basically the style of locking jaws is different on these trailers than I've seen before, so I'll just get a little video on it, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. The release arm isn't flush with the fifth wheel like it is on the trailers that I was used to, the dry van trailers, so that's like a little unnerving because my brain is like, how do I know for sure that it's locked? And then another thing I'll show you in a second here is that there are these like aerodynamic fins that go around the tires, and you have to lower the this one has the airbags that dump out air like I talked about before. You have to lower the trailer down or the tractor down a little bit to get under the trailer so you don't damage those things, especially when you're pulling out from under the trailer. And luckily someone else damaged them before I got a chance, because you know my ass probably would have done this, but no, that was somebody else that did this before. But it's because if you don't get the trailer low enough, that's what happens. But yeah, these are some of those aerodynamic features that they put on the bottom of trailers. So here's what I'm talking about. That release arm, you see how it's like way farther out from the fifth wheel? Sorry about the reefer noise. So that's different than what I'm used to looking at. And then when you get underneath it, the locking jaws come together in the middle rather than going all the way across. So it's like, it's just different. I mean, I don't know how exactly. I needed to follow up on this and be like, you know, what would it look like if that's not fully together? Because I would guess it would just be a gap between those two pieces of the locking jaw. But, you know, the more you know. I think it's cool that this has pretty purple hoses. You can make fun of me all you want. See if I care. All right, y'all. Little end of day video. I'm sick of wearing these overalls. I've worn them like 4 days in a row. I need to do laundry, which is what I'm about to do. But had a good first day at this job. Nothing too crazy. I didn't do a ton of miles today, and that's fine because I don't feel great. I let myself leave a little later because the appointment time, I would have been way too early, and I'm glad I did that because, I mean, that was my good excuse to sleep a little bit later. I got up at 4:45 today, which is late compared to how I'm going to get back to now that I'm done with training, once I'm not feeling as crappy as I feel now. I've been getting a lot of sleep, and that's probably why I'm gradually recovering from being sick. If I was still getting 6 hours a night like I normally do, I would have a harder time, I think. It's been nice to get a little bit more sleep. Not the best quality sleep, but at least a little more time-wise laying down. I'm one of those people that I have to like convince myself not to feel bad for being inactive for any length of time because I feel like I should be going all the time. This is what will be a microwave video. It looks more spacious because the microwave isn't in that space. I'm like, why didn't I bring my microwave? I don't know. I'm gonna grab it this weekend. It's actually like my end of week already, which is fine. I'm ready for it, even though I just got to drive today. I enjoyed driving this truck. It's a really nice, comfortable truck. And, but of course, Freightliners love a sensor. So I got this sensor that came up while I was driving, and I was like, oh crap. And it's like showing a countdown, like the engine shut off countdown. And I'm like, what? I'm doing like 65 on the highway. And I only got concerned because I've never seen that before. And it comes with a red check engine light with the word stop embedded in it. So it's like, you should not drive the truck. If you ever see that engine light come on, that means you really have to stop the truck. So I pull over, and then the sensor light goes away. Everything goes away. And it's like, oh, just kidding. And then it happened again a little while later. And I was like, what the heck? So I call, you know. I was going to wait to call because I'm like, this might just be some Freightliner sensor thing happening. Sure enough. And then it happened when I was done getting loaded. When I turned my truck on, it started to happen again. And I was like, what is the deal? And I had checked my oil thinking maybe it's something related to that. The oil was like super full. I thought it seemed too full, but mechanics didn't seem concerned, so I guess they like to top it off a little extra. I'm used to my old truck. It seemed like it kind of burned a lot of oil. I don't know if that's typical because of the life it was at over 300,000 miles, or if it's just because, you know, that's how trucks are. I don't know. I had to put oil in it kind of frequently. It seemed like, yeah, this is my first day driving this truck, so it remains to be seen. I check my oil pretty frequently, check my fluid levels, as one does when they drive trucks. But yeah, I got that sensor again, and they were like, you know, do the shut off, disconnect the battery. They said for 15 minutes. You guys might remember I was told before 21 minutes is the magic number, but I don't know. Maybe that's different on a later model. Is that how you say a newer model? I hear people say late model. I think old, but I think that means newer. So yeah, this is a 2022, this truck. It was a sensor thing. They found it. It didn't go off again after I did the restart. So yeah, all you newbies out there, before you freak out when you see some kind of sensor that's like, oh my God, we're all gonna die, just be like, it's okay. Just pat the steering wheel. Be like, it's okay. You're not gonna die. We're gonna keep driving down the road. Gonna keep rolling. And then we're gonna shut you off, and you're gonna wake back up and be fine. It's funny. It's just like turning off your phone and turning it back on. I think he said this truck has 24 or 28 computers in it. So there you go. It's really a remarkable piece of machinery and technology when you think about it, and what it is capable of doing, and the fact that all of us out here do what we do with these machines. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I can't help but get a little philosophical about it. Anyway, what else can I tell you? So yeah, got to get up extra early tomorrow. It's already a little bit late because I started later today, so I just shut down for the night. I'm going to take my 10 and I'm going to hit the road as early as I'm able to, because there's a storm that's going to roll through. So you know, that's the way it is. I'm gonna do some laundry now and take a shower and try to get to sleep, and I'm looking forward to testing out this new mattress on this bunk. I think it's gonna be so much more comfortable than the last one. I can already tell. That thing was like this, it was like a college mattress. If anybody's lived in a college dorm, it was like that, like flimsy, and like you could feel the coils in it. Not something, when you're a truck driver, you need a good night's sleep, you know? So anyway. Well, good morning, guys. You might notice I'm not sitting in the seat of my truck. If my truck was as comfortable as this couch, though, I would be super happy with that. And I'm kind of being quiet because there's probably some other people around the office, and I feel self-conscious talking to my phone, but having sensor issues again. It's day 2. I have a fully loaded trailer full of cheese that needs to go to Wisconsin, and I can't drive it. And I started to drive my truck, and it was going crazy. It's doing stuff I've never seen these trucks do. It's throwing, like, there's 2 separate engine lights, this time not the red one, but like 2 different orange check engine lights flashing at the same time, beeping, no active brake assist, all this stuff, not accelerating. It's being crazy, okay? And I obviously pre-tripped it already, and everything looked fine, of course. Then you start driving, and it's like, oh God, everything's wrong. And so it's having some computer electrical issues. So I had to call the poor guy who stayed late last night because I couldn't get back till after 5. Stayed late last night to work on my truck. He came back early this morning. I had to call him at like 6-ish, a little before 6. I felt so bad. I clearly woke him up. I mean, he was the on-call service guy, but still, it sucks. And anyway, that's how this morning was going. And I was just in a mood. I was in a mood this morning. Everything was driving me crazy, and I'm trying to keep returning to gratitude and perspective, and recognize that, like, you look back on things when they're really frustrating, and you're like, why was I so upset? Why was I so stressed? Moving is stressful. Being sick while moving is stressful. And the smell in my truck, because it smells, it's weird. It's not exactly a cigarette smoke smell, although I think that's part of it. I think it's a mixture. I'm wondering if that truck was sitting in the shop for a while or something, because it almost makes me think of the oil smell, but it's not. There's no leaks or anything. It's not that. It's just a mix of gnarly smells, like a sick kind of vaguely sweet smell, dusty, stale, smoky, and all of that. I feel like I can't breathe. Then I don't like the bunk heater. I miss having the Opti idle. I know that sounds weird, but when you get used to something, you just like it better. I'm sure I'll get used to this too, but I can't get it to work right. I don't know how it works. It's just weird. everything feels weird and different, and it's unsettling because it's where I live, you know what I mean? So I just got to get over myself. I got to get some good odor removing product in that truck, stat. I have saged it twice already. Saging helps temporarily, but now I'm noticing even my clothes are smelling like that smell in the truck. I'm working at it, guys. I'm working at the language. Oh. I just want to show you the most adorable small company Minnesota thing. This is the DEF, and you open this little door, and then the DEF is inside there. It's in this little shack building. Sorry, I can't show that much, but it's like you get a kick out of that. All right, guys, coming to you at the very, very, very late end of the day. It's getting close to midnight, which is crazy because normally I would be sound asleep right now. You can hear that. That's the wind whipping my truck around, which I know some people might not like that, but as long as it's not too crazy, I kind of like it. I'm at a Quick Trip. I love Quick Trips, and I'm happy that my company allows me to fuel there now. So this company allows me to fuel there. They're so nice. They're usually cleaner. The people that work there are cool, and they have a really good selection of food. Like, I had soup twice today because I wanted soup all week. You know, being sick, it's like I wanted some chicken noodle soup or something. It's just like the most comforting thing. It's too quiet in here. I need like some kind of fan noise at all times. I get kind of weird about that. But I'm still trying to get used to using the whole APU situation, because I guess what I had previously was an EPU. But oh my God, guys, I have crazy awesome news. I'm so happy. This day was crazy, and it ended up being super extended. So just to recap, not the best choice of words maybe. I had all those sensors on the truck earlier. They looked at it. I have never seen so many things going wrong with the truck at the same time. There were like 20 different things going off. Like 20 different codes were getting thrown by that thing. So the maintenance guy comes in where I'm sitting in the lounge, and he's like, this truck is going to have to go into the dealership. This has to go to Freightliner for them to work on it, because they have, you know, requires specific type of access to fix this level of problem. I'm like, okay. So I'm thinking, oh man, are they going to stick me in that one truck that was the first one they were going to give me that smelled really, really bad? And at that point, I had already started to get really have a hard time with the smell of the current truck. I was trying really hard to just, you know what? Don't obsess about it. Once the weather's warmer, you can open up the windows more of the time, let it air out, whatever. No, dude, I hit the jackpot. And one of the maintenance guys came in and said, well, you just won the lottery. And I was like, tell me you're being sarcastic. And he's like, no. He's like, we're putting you in a 2023. And I'm like so excited. This is a 2023 with 83,000 miles on it. And it is so nice. I had to move everything over into this truck, so that took like over an hour, and then I was on break status on my clock for like probably 2 hours, hour and a half. I guess it was 2 hours altogether, because what ended up happening today is I had started my clock at like 5:45 this morning or something, and I started to leave at like 6, and then the truck was completely not functional at all. Like, you could barely even move it. It kept kicking itself back into neutral. It was very weird, and I was like, what is going on here? It was super weird. I ended up thinking, okay, well, by the time I was ready to leave after moving everything into this truck, I was like, and luckily someone helped me. This guy is really cool. He's the same guy that did the road test and did my like pre-trip test. And it's such a small operation. It's like a small number of people at the helm. And I really like this particular guy. And he was really helpful with moving stuff over into the new truck. Because if you have to like climb down and climb back up, and with carrying stuff, it's so much harder than if you have a person just handing stuff off and throwing it in the other truck. So that went a lot faster because of that. And because I have my truck very specifically organized. I think anyone who drives trucks, I can't imagine how you would like handle it if you weren't organized, because there's such limited space, and the spaces are a certain size. And so you get used to like, okay, this stuff goes here, this stuff goes there. And I love that. I love the simplicity of that. It's a easier kind of life in that sense. But anyway, so I'm talking to my fleet manager. That's not the title they use here, but you know, basically my dispatcher, right? And I told her, I was like, okay, I'm going to try, I'm going to get out of here as soon as I can and try to get as far as I can. And I'm thinking that she's going to have them reschedule the delivery time, which already was running kind of late. It was on a window, but it was supposed to be there by sometime today. I can't even remember what it originally was, because I was of the mind that there's no way we're making this delivery today. She's like, well, you can go into split, whatever it is, like split sleeper berth or whatever it is, so that you basically can run for longer, but then you have to have a certain amount of break time. And someone could explain it to me in the comments if they wanted to, and I probably still wouldn't understand it. I have to do it a few times before it'll actually like really make sense to me. And the way this company's computers work, it will show you as going into violation. So you think you're in violation, but technically you're not, as long as you stop at a certain time and then don't start again until a certain time. So I ended up having to do that. So I basically worked I didn't shut down my clock until close to 10 o'clock tonight, I want to say. It must have been, I think it was a full 14 hours. I can't even think of how that works exactly, but it was just a super long day because there was that whole delay where I wasn't able to drive. And any driver will tell you, I think, that like if you get ready and you try to start your day and then you have like a delay caused by a breakdown with the truck, it's really hard to get yourself going again after that. It's like it throws off your whole brain because you're used to, like, driving itself is such a brain intensive activity, the focus and stuff, that when you turn that focus off for a while, then you have to start it up again at a time your brain isn't used to. It's just weird. It's a really weird phenomenon. I thought that my dispatcher was going to be like, yeah, get as far as you can, shut down, and then you can do it first thing in the morning. No, she wanted me to get it all the way there. And it was really bad weather today. I drove in some super dense fog. I drove in some wind. The wind was actually not bad at all, and the load was heavy, so it was good. And then when I scaled it, which I got to way too late, by the time I scaled it, it was already perfect. I happened to guess correctly. It was totally coincidental, but so that was cool. But yeah, this truck is like a dream. Another driver had to take leave not too long after he started driving it. It's in great condition. It also has a little bit of a smell, but this time I know it's, and also what's going on with the other truck is because they're in Minnesota and it's been wintertime, the mechanics work in heated buildings that they keep closed. So they'll have these trucks pulled into there in their bobtail, and I think it's that they're absorbing all the smells inside that space. So there's probably some cigarette smoke going on, I imagine, maybe. But there's definitely like motor oil and all kinds of other smells that just get absorbed into the fabric in these vehicles and the upholstery and stuff. This truck is amazing. It's so nice. It rides so nice. It feels great. So it was like so hard for me mentally to like end my day, finally get to this delivery. It felt like an eternity from the time I picked up the load because of all these things that happened. And then I had the hardest time backing into the door that they wanted me in because of like a combination of exhaustion and optical illusions and weird placement of the trailers that I had to back between. Like one was way farther forward than the other one and way closer to me than to my space than the other one was. And it was at a slightly different angle than the lines on the ground were, and it was messing me up. I swear to you, I probably pulled that shit forward 15 times. I'm not even exaggerating. I was ready to lose my mind. And then it was very dark and very rainy, so it's like you have the reflection of the water and it's so dark. And then the yard driver's driving around and he's got those like utility lights on the back that are like spotlights, so they're shining in my face and I'm getting a headache, and I'm just like covering my eyes when he comes by me. I'm like, He finally moved one of the trailers next to me that was really throwing me off, and that made it so I could get in the space. It was crazy. But I need to tell you guys about the thing I did today that was really embarrassing, and it's like I'm going to tell on myself, because when you're a truck driver, especially if you're inexperienced like me, you're going to make mistakes sometimes. And I think it's part of my channel is just being transparent about the fact that sometimes I do something stupid, and it's, as long as you recover from it quickly and nothing bad happens, it's okay. But I kind of want to share it because I think it always helps to share your foibles. So, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did this. So one thing about these trailers that I had sort of not really paid attention to in my previous drive, those all dry van, is when you hook up to the trailers, the airlines, normally a lot of trailers, there's blue and red, right? So there's your service airline is blue, and then your emergency airline is red. And a lot of times on the trailer, the colors will match. So you just match the colors. And I think I had done that forever, sort of unconsciously. Well, the trailers that I'm using now do not have any color on the glad hands. So I started driving this empty trailer after I dropped the loaded one, after it took an eternity to get it in the damn door. I start pulling the truck and I'm like, pulling the trailer and I'm like, I feel like I'm getting dragged back, and I'm like, what's going on? I'm like, my airlines are, you know, my brakes are released. I'm like, what's going on here, dude? So I called up my good buddy Dirk, who had been helping me through my stress literally all day long. If you're a new driver, you need a mentor. You need a mentor, a good mentor, and I hope that your mentor is a fraction as amazing and awesome and brilliant as mine is, because my buddy Dirk, who I've mentioned a few times, is incredible. And so I was like trying not to panic, because I had a super short amount of time before I really had to shut down my clock, even with the added time that I got from doing the split thing. It's raining, it's really dark where I am, and I call him and I'm like, I don't know what's happening. Something weird is going on. I can't get the truck to accelerate, and I'm not getting any sensors. And that's a giveaway. If you're in a truck like this, a brand new Freightliner, and something's malfunctioning, but you're not seeing any alert sensor things on the dash, then it's user error. And I knew that, like, in my soul. I was like, I did something wrong, but I can't think of what it is. I got out with my flashlight. I'm looking at everything. I'm getting under the trailer. I'm like, what is happening? He's like, okay, we're troubleshooting. He's like keeping me calm. He's like, okay, go look at your airlines. And I went and looked, and as soon as he said that, I was like, oh, I switched the airlines. I had my service line where my emergency line should go, and vice versa. So yeah, that was the embarrassing thing I did today. I eventually got out of that spot. This video is getting too long, so I'm trying to wrap it up. But, you know, sometimes you just do something stupid, and I had no choice but to catch it, because my truck wasn't going anywhere. Because basically it's like not getting air to the trailer, so it's like you're dragging the trailer. I mean, I never want to do anything like that, because I'm worried about causing some kind of damage, like dragging the you know, wheels and damaging the tires or something. But nothing bad happened. I made it here okay. It's so freaking late right now. I'm so tired. I'm going to watch a little bit of the new season of Ted Lasso. And I have been having a very hard time getting through even one episode, because I fall asleep after like 10 minutes. So I will catch you guys later. That was my adventure for today, man. It was a weird one, but I got a new truck, and I'm stoked about it. It was worth all the stress.